Good morning, everybody. It is 11:14 here on this Wednesday morning, and it is time for our Chamber of Commerce chat. We have the Executive Director of the Greensburg-Decatur County Chamber of Commerce, Dawn Lowe. Dawn, I'll turn it over to you.
Good morning. Thank you
Good
so
morning.
much. I am finally back. It's been a while since I've been in the studio. I've had a lot of assistance from both my marketing executive and our summer intern. We let them take the reins for a few months. So I'm glad to be back in the studio this morning.
Yeah, your intern did an incredible job last month.
Good. I'm great to. I do listen afterward and critique a little bit, but no, it's kind of daunting to put them in front of the microphone. But I'll tell you what, when we told Belle that she was going to get a turn at the mic, she just stepped right in. She's like, okay, and just took it with a grain of salt and fit right in there. So we were excited to watch her grow in that space and learn something new. So that was fun.
Good deal.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to be back. Thank you again for having us on Community Connections. My name is Dawn Lowe, and we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of upcoming events that we have coming up with the Chamber. Actually, let me rewind. We just came off of an event last night, and we had such a great time at Leaders and Loggers. If you have not made it to a Leaders and Loggers yet, I would highly encourage you to do so. It is free. It is open to the public. We do a little short session with one of our chamber members or a community organization, talk about what is happening in their world. Sometimes it's a testimony. Sometimes it's about a particular product or service that they provide. Great way to get a little bit of marketing on that side of things. But honestly, the networking that happens in there is so much fun. It's so insightful. And super beneficial. So you can join us any third Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Tap. That's located at 116 East Washington Street on the north side of the downtown square. And again, we just have such a great time. So we had a great turnout last night. I listened to Mark Fixmer, who is the division manager for Best Way Disposal. So we talked a little bit about the history of Best Way Disposal in Decatur Hills Landfill, and then talked about the trucking part of the industry. I did not know until last night that they offer their own CDL licensure through their state approved through the state. And so, those who are wanting to obtain their CDL and go to work for them can do that right there through Best Way. So thought that was super interesting. So we're going to get a write-up out on that, a little recap. So watch our social media for that throughout the day. Coming up tomorrow, we have an event from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock at Greensburg City Hall called Workforce Partners, What Employers Need to Know. It is a joint venture between the Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development. We are bringing in the Indiana Department of Education, the Indiana Chamber, Connexus Indiana, and Ascend Indiana to talk about all of the new requirements for the diploma. So there is a new blueprint for success called Readiness Seals. So depending on whether your child is going for the Honor Seal or the Honors Plus Seal through enrollment, employment, or enlistment, there are new requirements per the state that say they now have to obtain so many hours of work-based learning, essentially. And that can look a little bit different for different kiddos. It can come in different forms. So we're going to hear directly from the Department of Education tomorrow in the Indiana Chamber, and again, Ascend and Connexus, and hear what that potentially could look like for you and your business, your agency, and figure out a way for us to come alongside our education system and help support them so that we can make sure that those kids are getting what they need in preparation for graduation. So if you have not signed up for that, registration is required. We've got a full house already. We can squeeze a couple more in. You can do that through our website, greensburgchamber.com. Call our office at 812-663-2832. It is free to attend, and lunch is included. So I'll get you with lunch there, right? If you feed them, they will come.
That's right.
We also have an upcoming ribbon cutting that I want to tell you about. That is for KC Performance Cycles. I'll tell you what, these guys truly impressed me. I went in to talk about a chamber membership, It was clean, it was sleek, it was organized, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 32 to 36 cycles sitting on the floor. I'm not a cycle advocate, but it was like a huge, beautiful showroom. And all bikes that they are working on, they strictly work on Harley Davidson and do different things through performance enhancement and routine maintenance on those Harley Davidsons. So a very unique niche that we have here in Decatur County through them. But we're going to cut a red ribbon for them on Friday, September the 12th at 12. Again, that's for KC Performance Cycles, and they're located at 1413 Liberty Circle, Suite A. So we'd love for you to join us. Come on out, and we'll celebrate with them. In the studio today, we have Jordan Watson, an agent with American Family Insurance. Thank you for joining us, Jordan.
Thank you so much, Dawn, for having me. I'm excited for this Community Connections, my first one, but I have heard them before, so I'm excited.
Well, thanks for listening. You are, by the way, you are everywhere. You are live on WTRE's YouTube link right now, so you can look up here and wave to everybody. Live on YouTube. You're also going to be uploaded on our YouTube channel. You've got listeners out there. So knowing that you have a very wide audience, tell us just a little bit about who Jordan is.
Just kind of a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Hendricks County, so I am a transplant to this area. Grew up a very small rural area, agriculture being our biggest thing, being surrounded by the cornfields, the soybean fields, so I'm no stranger to that stuff. Went to Franklin College, graduated with a history degree, so I do love conversating about the past and also looking forward to the future. But I have been doing insurance for about 8 years now. It's fun. Some days are harder than others, but it's always nice to be able to be there to support people in their dreams. And I do love traveling. I love going to national parks and all that kind of stuff that comes with it. And obviously a big avid sports fan. Go IU and go Buckeyes.
Oh my goodness. We might have to end the show right there. All right. Well, we'll let it slide on. Tom's shaking his head. Yes, we'll let it slide through for today. We won't get into the whole sports. That could be a 2-hour program easily.
Easily.
But let's go ahead and jump into the business side of things as our listeners are ready to jump through the microphones here at you. Tell us a little bit about your agency and the history of the agency.
Yeah, so we have been in Rushville specifically for over 30 years. I've been there for 5, but we did also used to have a office here in the downtown area of Greensburg. So we have served Rush County, Decatur County, Ripley, Fayette, really every region in our area for over 40 years. It's just I happen to be at the helm of the ship for the last 5. I do think that we pride ourselves on providing personalized insurance solutions tailored to the customers in the area, so it's not a one-size-fits-all. Everyone is truly there. It's an individualized experience.
So I'm gonna ask a question that a lot of people ask me as a director, and I should have maybe prepped you for this one before, but you are a member of the Greensburg-Decatur County Chamber, yet your business is located in Rush County. Explain why you chose that move.
So I think that it's good to make sure you support every area. You go where your people are, and like I said before, we do have quite a large clientele that lives in Decatur County and the surrounding counties. So it's important for us to make sure that individuals, clients, businesses know that we care about what's important to them. So supporting the organizations, the nonprofits, trying to be at the events that bring them happiness also brings us happiness.
That's awesome. And I know because you have been with us for a short period of time on our membership, following your pages on social media, you are extremely involved in community events. So before we even talk about the insurance side of things, talk a little bit about your how you integrate yourself in the different communities.
Yeah, so kind of like I said, we look for different opportunities to make sure that our brand is out there, our name is out there, that we're showing people that we're more than just insurance. It kind of goes back to my background. I'm from a very small, tiny town, Amo, Indiana. It literally has, I think, 5 stop signs in the entire area, so it's one of those fly-by-the-nights, you blink and it's gone. or like you're there, you're not there. So being involved, being engaged is kind of what's rooted in my foundation. So I think that I grew up knowing that if there's a need, you fill it, and that it takes a village. So everyone coming together to provide us a good sense of community and helping people, and just kind of making sure that everyone knows that they're not alone.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we appreciate you being an integral piece of the Decatur County community and surrounding areas. Let's go ahead and jump back and go back into the business side of things. So talk a little bit about insurance and what you specialize in.
So we do auto, home, business, life, farm. We're trying to get back into the farm space as well. I would say the only things that we really aren't our forte would be pet insurance and health insurance. Two things that are just not everyone's favorite things to talk about. But really, I don't think anybody actually likes talking about their insurance. It's not something that everyone looks forward to every year, seeing their renewals or having to make those phone calls to their people. But yeah, I'd say, that's our product offerings. And if there is something that people have a burning desire to do, we try to see if we can't find a good fit for them, and making sure that their risk is protected and their assets are taken care of.
Yeah. And you've talked about it a little bit already, or you've hinted on it. What is your mission at your agency, or maybe some goals that you have?
I'd say the biggest mission is to protect people's dreams and educate. As a person who hasn't done insurance their entire life and was kind of just a consumer, you don't know what you don't know.
That is my favorite quote.
Yeah.
I say it all the time.
You don't know what you don't know.
So
and
true.
Believe it or not, to sell insurance in most states, especially Indiana, you have to, take a licensure test, and it's pretty daunting. It's not the easiest of things. So I know that, again, in my past life, I wanted to be an educator, so I take it as a opportunity for me to help people learn, whether or not y'all remember it or sit through it kind of like it was a boring history class or something like that. But I take it as an opportunity to make sure that people understand the difference in coverages and how their choices can impact their risk, impact their future, because the wrong coverage can send you down a spiral that you hopefully can pick yourself back up from.
Recover from. Right,
Yeah.
right. So you talked at the beginning how you like to customize the packages. How do you learn about, let's pretend I am a future client. How would you find out what my needs really are and customize that to me? Or my family?
So how much time do we have here? I'm just kidding.
Right.
It truly involves a conversation. I know in this day and age, everyone wants instant gratification, wants things done immediately. But I do think that in this industry, in this business, it takes time. So I have to get to know you. I have to get to know your family. I have to get to know, what your work-life balance is, all those kinds of things, because that helps me tailor the best protection for you. So understanding your driving habits, understanding your family dynamic, is there someone that works from home? Is there something that you're doing business-wise that we need to make sure that you're protected for? Maybe it's like secondary at home. You're cutting hair out of your house. We have quite a few people that do run salons out of their house. Or maybe you're doing eBay. People don't realize that having those kinds of businesses do require specific insurance, do require certain conversations.
With that being said, so that brings up a good point. What do you think some of the biggest misconceptions are regarding insurance?
I'd say one size fits all. That's
Okay.
probably the biggest misconception, believing, I should say, that each of these large corporations, whether or not it's a broker or an independent agent, person only writes for one company, that everyone does things the same. They have the same ops and processes. They handle claims the same. Not everybody does those things the same, so it's important for you as an insured, as an individual, to kind of take control over your insurance. You should have a person that like, and trust, that is maybe not going to give you the answer that you want, but is going to give you the answer that you need to hear. Because those are sometimes difficult conversations with individuals. Why do I have to insure it this way? Well, if you don't, here's what could happen. So
Right.
I'd say, the biggest misconception is making sure that you have someone that you trust, and knowing that not everyone does things the same.
Do you find, as you're talking to potential clients, that people will withhold information in an effort to guard certain information, to not be quite as transparent as maybe they should be, or is that not common?
I'd say that is probably twofold. Yeah, you do see that with some people. You know, there is a distrust there because maybe they've had a past experience that wasn't so positive. But I try to remind everyone in my conversations that I'm here for you. So the more you tell me, the easier the insurance is going to be and the better protection you're going to have. So I am under the impression that the more is better in that instance. You know, if you are hiding something, you know, again, just being honest, in those insurance policies, in that fine little tiny print on page 1005 that nobody reads, there is those things that allow, those mechanisms, legalities that allow these insurance companies and large corporations to possibly absolve themselves of having to pay for things. So if you're going to hide, they will find it. So it's better, I think, personally, to voice those things, put them out in the open, you know, let me know your situation so I can make sure that you're adequately protected and you're not going to see yourself with a possible denied claim.
Sure. You said you've been an agent for about 8 years, or in the industry for about 8 years. Have you seen any changes in the industry over those 8 years?
Man, yeah.
Really?
As a person, as a person that's a millennial, I'd say that, you know, we've seen the most changes in every aspect of our life, but especially for us, you know, we've went through so much so far. But I'd say obviously COVID changed a lot. Sorry, I know no one likes that C word right there. That was an interesting time frame for insurance companies, and obviously the time after it as well, with the inflation that we have seen, that is seen every aspect of our life turned upside down, but especially in the insurance industry. Roofs are becoming a hot topic, hot button issue for a lot of companies. Companies used to not care too much, or used to kind of turn a blind eye to roof condition and be able to pay those things out. But when you have the cost of replacement skyrocketing, you have the uptick in tornadoes. If you aren't aware, Indiana actually has every year for the past 4 years set a new record for the amount of tornadoes that we've had in the state.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I think through June we were sitting at like 44 tornadoes, compared to over a decade ago. In past decades, we were lucky to maybe see 5 or 6. Now, is that attributed to better technology and more reporting? Jury's out on that one, but I can tell you that the destruction is there because we end up getting the phone calls.
Right, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So how has your agency adapted to those changes? You were talking about the changes that you've seen over the last several years. How has your agency adapted to those?
So we have tried to get in front of those issues with roofs, letting people know. My favorite thing that I would say that I hear from individuals is, well, it's a 30-year shingle or it's a 50-year shingle. And so I have to, you know, explain to them in such a way that helps them understand that just because those shingle manufacturers say it's a 30-year shingle doesn't actually truly mean that your roof is going to be protected for the full 30 years. You know, they can't guarantee that. No one can offer that guarantee. So we try to educate on that aspect, help people understand their coverage, and make sure we're doing reviews with them each year. You know, ask them, hey, have you thought about replacing your roof? Here is the significant savings that you can get by having a brand new roof, because these companies are starting to look at that when it comes to those roof ratings. You know, if it's a 20-plus-year-old roof and it looks like it's in poor condition, that can lead to not only paying out on the roof, but possible interior damage. So it's just trying to help individuals understand how to be smart with the insurance, because, you know, long gone are the days where, you know, a small claim having, you know, maybe a not so negative impact on you. Every claim matters, and every dollar that you spend with your insurance matters.
Mm-hmm. What is trending right now?
What is trending? That's a difficult question. I'm not really sure where to go with that one, because there's so many avenues. I would say What's trending, I would say, is the uptick of price of home insurance. Like again, I'm getting phone calls all the time. My insurance went up this, my insurance went up that. So there's an uptick in shopping. There's an uptick in, shopping comes from the fact that your mortgage payment goes up, your escrow payment goes up. So that gets you a little hot sometimes. So you have to call and make sure you're getting the best coverage or seeing if you're missing any discounts. I'd also say there's an uptick in people going uninsured. I have quite a few people in the past who they just can't afford the insurance. So when a person comes to you just on a human basis and tells you, hey, it's either I have the protection or I can, provide for my family, that's a very hard conversation. That is a very tough spot to be in. So each individual person makes the best decision for them and their families, but that's why uninsured motorist coverage, that is something that is on your auto policies. I have quite a few people who come to me, they don't realize that they don't have it. And that's a type of coverage that can save your butt if you get into an accident with someone who doesn't have insurance. So it's important to understand your risk, know what you're giving up. And if you don't, have that trusted person that you're getting advice from to help you understand your risk, you could put yourself in a bad spot in the future.
Yeah. Let's talk about pricing. The elephant in the room, everybody wants to know what it costs. So talk a little bit about that and how you educate your potential clients on.
Yeah, so pricing is hard. Each individual company has their what we call a niche market. So like you have individuals or risks that they would rather take over others. Within the last, 30, 40 years, obviously credit ratings didn't exist prior to the 70s and 80s, but it has made its way into the insurance field, and so that can have an impact on your price. There are so many variables that kind of go into it, property maintenance, the makeup of your house, the square footage, foundation is a big one. Basements always seem to cost a little bit more, whether they're finished or unfinished. And that also does come with a higher risk for these insurance companies. But it's just educating people on, if you want a good price, you have to be willing to meet the insurance company halfway with property maintenance and also discounts. There's 1,000,001 discounts out there. You got to ask. Most individual companies, most individual agents will, try to make sure you know what you can have or what you might qualify for, but you might not know how easily it is to get that extra 10% off or that extra $10 a month off by having that Ring doorbell or, having something along those lines.
I was just going to ask for an example, so that would be a good one. Okay.
Yeah, Ring doorbells, security systems, Vivint, ADT, SimpliSafe, that can have a big impact. Helping you with your rate there. Obviously, good student. Some companies offer volunteer discounts for individuals. Also asking, do they have what's called an affinity discount? So that is a partnership that those companies have with certain people. So to give you an example for another industry leader, USAA, they offer discounts for people who were prior servants with the military in any branch. So that's one. We currently have a contract with Costco. So we do offer a Costco discount. Obviously, there are no Costcos in Decatur County yet, but maybe you're going to tell me there's one on the rise. But people still go out of their way to shop at those establishments. So there are lots of discounts out there to be had.
That would be a conversation for economic development.
Yeah.
I'll pass that on to him.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your team.
So it is me. Like I said, I have been doing this for 8 years, and then my trusty sidekick. I don't call her my employee. I call her my best friend. She has my back through it all. Her name is Natalie Anderson. Shout out Natalie and Mark, her husband, for allowing me to have her work for us because she's amazing, and they have a family, amazing family. Thank you, Leah, as well, her daughter. But she's been doing this for going on 20 years.
Wow.
She used to be at the office front that we had here in Decatur County. So she's known to quite a few people. She is very thorough. She is very detail oriented. She keeps me on track. They do say that every man needs a good woman in his life. So I'm glad I have her to save my butt multiple times.
There you go. Shout out to her. Talk a little bit about some of the different things that you have seen over your 8 years. So maybe the worst and the best of the stories that you have.
Yeah, so I'd say some of I don't want to dwell on the bad times. The bad times are always when you have clients come to you and they said, they have a claim that may or may not, that's probably not covered because of certain coverages they didn't elect to have. I can tell you that, with the major rain that we had this past spring, there were a couple of households, couple of clients who elected to not take the needed coverage for when that flood comes, or, maybe just the groundwater, the rain comes in too fast, the sump pump can't get it out. So that's why it's important to, understand your risk and really listen to your insurance agent and mull over if that price is worth it to not have that protection. On the good side though, I've seen people, I'm going to talk a big topic here because we're coming up on September, and September is actually Life Insurance Awareness Month, if you weren't aware.
Okay.
And it's just another tool to have for families, for of all ages. Obviously, it's better to get when you're younger because it's cheaper and you're at your best rate, probably because your health. But life insurance has been a savior in my life and a lot of my friends' lives. Death is horrible, and it's a very hard time when you're grieving, but being able to give people large checks, large sums of money, and allow them to take their time to grieve and not have to worry about well, how am I going to afford this mortgage now that the breadwinner's gone, or what are we going to do about after childcare now that mom's gone, or how do we handle dad's estate with all this debt. So those are some of my biggest success stories, is being able to be there when times are truly hard. Claims wise, there's 1,000,001 claims I could reference, auto and home, seeing bad things happen, seeing trees fall on people's homes, and being able to be out there the night of or the following day just to console them, because it's a very traumatic experience. So that's why I say it's important to, that's an experience I feel like you don't get with everyone. Not every local agent, especially not every 1-800 number online company is able to be there when it matters. So making sure that, someone actually cares and has your back is pertinent.
And is that, I'm assuming now, and I shouldn't do that, but is that what you would say helps set your agency apart from others? Yeah.
So like I told you, we're comprehensive. If you're going to come, I'm going to tell you, if you're looking for the best price, we do our best to get you a best price. We hang our hats on coverage. If you want to make sure you're taken care of, you're not going to have any tomfoolery or nonsense when replacing that combine, or having to, get your detached garage taken care of. That's where we set ourselves apart with our thoroughness and our detail, making sure we explain the risks. And I do think insurance is more than just transactional. Like I said, it's about relationship building. I want to know how you're doing. I want to talk about your day. I don't want it just to be a 5-second phone call of just taking a payment or, surface level stuff. I want to be an integral part in people's lives and show them that people do still care. I feel like that's something that we've kind of lost touch with the digital age, is that personal touch and being able to build relationships and not just being transactional or surface level.
Yeah, I love that. And the best way for people to get started with insurance would be how?
Oh boy, let me tell you, I wish there were more. I know we say about this all the time. I wish they taught me this in school. I wish that was something that they taught, young adults about, so that they don't go out and make those mistakes at an early age. I'd say the best place to start is to just call people up, call insurance agents up, go online, look at reviews. Reviews are huge. I ask each one of my individual clients to leave us reviews, whether good or bad. I want both. I don't want this to seem like, I'm perfect, because I'm never perfect. I've made mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, but we aren't defined by those mistakes. We're defined by how we update ourselves or change ourselves and evolve. So I ask people for reviews. I don't know how other people have been treated by other agents or what their ops and processes are. So I ask for the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it allows me to be better. And at the end of the day, I just want to be better.
I love that. I love that. We are running out of time, believe it or not. This 30 minutes, Tom, flies by.
It does.
Flies by. If people are looking to shop around, start out, whatever it might be, how did they get a hold of you?
Yeah,
Where
so you
be
can,
found?
we have an office phone number, 765-932-3401. Again, that's 765-932-3401. You can call or text that number. Also, my email, jwatson@amfam.com. Our office is located at 121 East 3rd Street there in downtown Rushville, but we do service all of Indiana. I service Ohio, Michigan, so it's not just only the surrounding counties. We're all over. If there is questions on insurance, we can answer them. Yeah, we're pretty good. You could also find us online. We do have a Facebook page, the Jordan Watson Agency. I did want to give a quick shout out. I do want to offer a nice little promo for our listeners and for people in the surrounding counties as well. If you happen to call our agency, email our agency, and get a non-obligated quote, that means even if you just call and allow us to give us a chance to look at your insurance with you, even if you don't take it, we will offer a local gift card to a local place
Nice.
for one of the downtown businesses, Stories, maybe the branch, wherever. We'll meet you halfway there. A little $10 gift card just for you even calling us and give us the opportunity to earn your business. So don't have to buy anything.
That's awesome. And you talked earlier about supporting local communities, so that's another way that you're giving back here locally. We appreciate that.
Of course. Thank you for having me, Dawn.
Absolutely. Final last words. And what are your goals
Goals.
looking forward?
I'd like to grow my agency. Obviously, I will tell you, we are looking to hire. So if there's a listener out there who might be interested in sales, customer service, and the opportunity to have a flexible schedule, possibly working from home, stuff like that, hybrid stuff, we are looking to add a team member. Add more policies, increase our reach into more communities. I can't do everything. We get 1,000,001 asks to be part of community events, to help out nonprofits, but we do our best to make sure that we cast the widest net and help as many people as we can. So I would say, if you're fundraising for your kids or you're fundraising for your school, make sure you ask your local insurance agencies. I can't speak for everyone, but I can tell you that that is, as you've alluded to, that is our thing. We love supporting those people. We love supporting their dreams and meeting them halfway in that aspect.
That's awesome. Well, and we hope that you wish you the best and hope that you reach those dreams of yours as well. So thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being a Greensburg-Decatur County Chamber of Commerce member. Relatively new to the scene with us, but we look forward to many long-lasting years and watching your agency grow and succeed here in the region. So thank you for being an integral piece of what we do.
Thank you again, Dawn. I got to shout out. You were so welcoming. Obviously, being a transplant, it's hard sometimes to come to new communities not knowing very many people. But my very first interaction with you were so welcoming. It wasn't even about trying to get me to join the chamber. It was just kind of just having a good interaction. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that. If you do want to be a member of the chamber or have thought about that and just not made that step, we would love to have a conversation with you. You can reach out to us at our office, 812-663-2832, or find us online at greensburgchamber.com. Tom, with that, I think that'll wrap up Community Connections.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Always very, very informative, great information to have. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Everybody enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Tom.